going on, everybody? I'm your host, Erik Threet II. I am joined by Waterford reporter Scott MacDonald. We're here to talk about the undefeated in-conference Waterford Wildcats. They knocked off Southern tonight. Was it their senior night?
It was their senior night.
It was their senior night. On senior night, putting in work 63-50. Now, who stood out for Waterford? We know they have players all over the place that'll have a night. Who stood out tonight?
Well, you mentioned senior night, and one of the players that is a senior that celebrated their final game in Waterford was Jordan Welch. He had a stat line of 24 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks. Now, that just gave me the feeling of a Hardwood Hero, potentially. We'll see on Sunday. Another player that really had a standout game was Travis Potmeyer with 12 points and 8 rebounds to go along with 3 assists.
Now, even though Waterford is basically the best, they are number one in the TVC, there's always something to get better with. You know, there's something to improve on. What can Waterford improve on?
Well, one thing that I really want to see is they love to run. They love to steal the ball, pressure you on defense, and get out in the open court and run, get those transition baskets. But one of the things that I really noticed today, and I've noticed the last few games, is that when they are running the court, they are completely out of control. They are almost sporadic, and they do not have a lot of body control when they are laying it up. They will kind of charge, they get more charges than they do blocks, and it's very, very uncommon to see such a great transition team have these many issues. Another thing that I want to kind of look at is there was a block towards the end of the second quarter where Andrew Thyman had a monstrous block, and it could have changed the game. It could have been a momentum shifter, but Waterford did not do a whole lot with it. What they do after that block, they went 4 straight turnovers. And mind you, this was in the final 2.5 minutes, and Southern went on a 6-0 run. Another thing is they allowed Southern to get back into this game. It was 48-42 even after Waterford had a double-digit lead. And then what did Coach Sim do? He called a timeout, told his guys just to play the game that they know, and what happened? Subsequently, Waterford went on an 8-0 run to put the game out of reach, and that ultimately won them the game.
Now, regardless of these issues, they earned themselves a number 1 seed in Division 4 for the postseason. What do you see their chances are of winning a state championship?
It's going to be tough because I don't know how well that they start games. That's one of the main issues that I actually lined out in my preview for them, is that the way they start the game, it's almost, they're very cold. And like you mentioned earlier in the segment, that they have all these players that can score and all these players that can do so much for the team, but they struggle finding that hot hand early. Maybe they distribute the ball a little bit too much. What I want them to do, and they don't play a playoff game until next Tuesday, the 28th, and it's between either Green or Eastern. What I want them to do is find a hot hand early, keep going to him, maybe get your other shooters in rhythm off of him. That will decide how far in this playoff that this team can go.
My man, he knows what he's talking about. Waterford, y'all are in good hands with Scott MacDonald. But you can keep up with all of our content at woab.org/heroes. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. You can follow your boy as well at junior_3. Sir Scott, thank you, sir. We'll holler at y'all next time.